at him. He fighting pay-per-view, knocking these dudes out. That don't take away the fact that I can beat this dude. It don't take away from the fact that this dude know he can't beat me. Send the contract over, or we send the contract to him. I have it go. Tell him to fight me. That dude get to feeling himself and feeling like he's something that he's not in. And to the world, he look like a killer, but I can't wait. I'm gonna expose him. I promise you, I'm gonna expose him. I'll be the person that he going there, he not gonna knock out. He not gonna hurt. He gotta go 12 rounds with somebody, and somebody gonna be beating him. He ain't gonna like that. That's with his heart. That's gonna with his head. Watch.
No thoughts. People can talk that type. There's no contract inside. I don't pay attention to that.
I answer that.
I gotta get you to answer this. What he said about you.
Yeah, he can't. My opinion. It's my opinion.
Listen, all that sounds good right now, but when the fight is made and the fight about to happen,
Tank is not playing this Murray match.
he know what time
That bell ring.
1 minute he on this side, 1 minute he is.
So when that bell ring, Tank ain't playing this Murray.
Okay, buckle up, because what I'm about to tell you is the kind of thing that gets whispered in boxing gyms at midnight and never makes it to the press. And yet here we are because somebody clearly forgot to close the door.
If he don't get touched, I'll never ever train fighters again.
I ain't seen him fight nobody that was a killer already.
And everybody he fought touched him. Everybody he fought
No,
touched
let's
him.
really look at when you talk about them guys. Who did they fight was that next to killer? You know what I'm saying? You feel what I'm saying?
I feel what you're saying.
How do you have Bob Arm too? Because he's not gonna let that.
I just don't pay attention to them. When they start fighting, first, of course you're going to want to fight Tank. They know Tank is the best right now. They know it. But goddamn, fight somebody that's...
Shakur Stevenson, one of the most technically gifted fighters on the planet, a man who dismantles opponents like a surgeon with a PhD in making you look stupid, has reportedly walked straight up to the biggest door in lightweight boxing, knocked on it loud enough for the whole sport to hear, and allegedly,
that's why I always make this. He would make the fight boring just to win.
Right. Yeah, I think you would too.
Dude, I want to put Youngin in that type of situation. You know what I'm saying? If it doesn't make sense. Because fans come to see what? A fight. Let's go look at Shakur last fight.
I mean, to say the least, he's a beast. He really is. He's a tremendous fighter. He's a dedicated fighter when it comes to training and fighting and making sure that he's in optimal conditions when he steps inside.
Nobody on the other side is answering, which, depending on who you ask, tells you everything you need to know about this situation. Because when Shakur publicly calls out Gervonta "Tank" Davis and starts asking on camera why this fight hasn't happened yet, that's not a call-out, that is a declaration. That is a man planting a flag in someone else's yard and daring them to come outside. And the box...
6 inches, he goes back 8.5, and he counters, and he controls space in that ring, and he's a ghost. He's a ghost in that ring. He fights that style. He's that pitcher I talk about on the baseball diamond that disarms you, that takes the bat out of your hands, that hits corners, mixes up the speeds. Just doesn't allow you, keeps you off balance, doesn't allow you to get a good swing at him. Could he do that with Tank Davis, who's patient, who's deliberate, who knows how to hunt you down, who knows how to shrink a ring, who knows how to properly apply pressure without leaving himself wide open, who knows how to use a jab to get it, who knows how to go to the body to take some of the legs away, take some of the...
The boxing world absolutely lost its mind. But then, just when you thought this was simply Fighter A challenging Fighter B, Tank's head coach Calvin Ford steps in front of a microphone and says something so carefully worded, so diplomatically shady, that you have to...
Joe against Teofimo, they stay very disciplined all night. And he's the type of guy, he don't really do a lot of crazy stuff in his life normally. So it's like discipline is a thing that is not only exercised inside the ring, it's exercised also outside the ring. And as we see, sometimes Gervonta has problems with this, but we have never seen Shakur have problems with this. We've seen him be more disciplined at the right time than we've seen him not have discipline. So with the fight being like it is right now, I would lean towards Shakur because of his discipline, but don't get twisted. If somebody could...
to rewind it 3 times to catch the full venom, because Ford essentially suggests that Stevenson talks a lot but hasn't proven he's an entertaining fighter, which... Wait, hold on. Did a coach just say that winning isn't enough? That being technically brilliant isn't enough? That you also have to perform for the crowd like a circus act? Or you don't deserve the mega fight, because if that's the new standard in boxing, then someone needs to send that memo to every champion who ever won on points.
And I respect Tank in the ring and his skills and his power and his attribute and he's smart.
Yeah.
He's definitely smart. He can box his ass off. And I'm not saying I would pick Shakur just because our differences. I'm telling you as a fighter.
Yeah.
I will pick Shakur because I don't believe Tank will be able to land those big shots on Shakur like he does everybody else.
Right.
Shakur defense.
Like, I have so much confidence of Shakur Stevenson beating Gervonta Davis. But they're two of the best lightweights in the world. They're two of the best fighters in America. It's a natural fight.
And this is where it starts getting interesting, because the moment Ford said fan demand matters, fans online allegedly started screenshotting that quote and asking whether this was about entertainment or whether this was about something else entirely. And then, as if Ford needed backup, Kenny Ellis slides into the conversation like a co-signer on a lease he didn't read.
One thing, oh God, I don't even, it's gonna be interesting, because if Shakur handles this guy like he did Lopez, I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say the hell with Shakur, man. If he just handles this guy like he's, I'm the hell with him. Somebody gotta give him a fight though, but you gotta be very sophisticated to know how to fight. This is when I know you lost against Shakur. This is when I know you lost. See, when he does this stuff, once you start doing this stuff and looking at him, oh, it's over. You got constant action, motion, constant motion again. You gotta be on him constantly. Once you start looking at him and doing that, he ain't dead.
Very skillful. He's a beast. He knows how to figure you out. But one thing about Tank, which I love, and this is why he's gonna be great, because he fights. And when you fight, you're gonna get hit. And when you fight, you're gonna get hit and you might get knocked out. But that's the beauty about Tank.
That's why
he
they love
fights, and that's why they love him. That's a perfect example.
Right.
Tank Davis is a star.
Reinforcing the idea that Tank Davis is the bigger star, that Davis doesn't need Stevenson, that it's Shakur who needs Tank and not the other way around, which on the surface sounds like team loyalty, but underneath sounds like the oldest power play in combat sports, controlling who appears desperate and who appears unbothered, and you won't believe this.
He's not, when you put heat on him, he's so damn defensive that he don't throw punches. There's nothing in return. So you're able to mount an attack on him and let your hands go, and you're not going to receive any counter punches coming back. You know, I think Tank sees that. I think Tank knows that. So as long as those counters don't come, Tank's gonna be in there. You know, as long as he's not willing to risk getting caught, Tank's gonna be in there.
But the moment Ellis said Davis doesn't need the fight, Stevenson's supporters allegedly flooded social media, pointing out that Tank's last 3 opponents weren't exactly household names either. And suddenly this conversation about entertainment value started looking less like a boxing debate and more like a PR chess match, where every move is calculated 3 steps at the head.
He's a great fighter. You know, especially when he's serious about it. You know, I don't know if he's as serious as he used to be. When he was serious, he was a hell of a fighter. Nobody came close. He's the only one I gave a chance against. Shakur and that guy, Keyshawn Davis, they're scary fighters too, because they're sophisticated. The other guy's sophisticated than me. But Tank is just a force of nature. You know, you just gotta give him the credit. You know, even though he's talking and stuff, he's
And just when you think you have a handle on the storyline, breaking sparring footage rumors allegedly start circulating, because apparently both camps have wildly different accounts of what happened the last time these 2 men were allegedly in a gym together, with each side claiming their fighter had the upper hand. And here's where the documentary energy kicks in, because conflicting sparring stories in boxing are basically the sport's version of a he said, she said thriller, where nobody has receipts but everybody has confidence. And Stevenson's camp reportedly insists Shakur was schooling Tank, while Tank's team allegedly laughs that off like it's the
boxing, I guess you could say, because like the history and like everything that, you know, like went on. It's hard to even speak on it just because of the fact that we gotta fight. So at the end of the day,
you feel that's gonna happen?
Yeah, I know it's gonna happen. I mean, I'm the best, he the best. So you got two guys that's the best, how can you not fight? Only way you could not fight if one of them guys ain't like that and somebody go off to lose or somebody take an L. But I think like with both of us, we both fighters that's
Funniest thing they've heard since someone tried to convince them a technical boxer beats a puncher every time. And listen, both of those things cannot be simultaneously true, which means somebody in this situation is building a narrative. Somebody is doing reputation management disguised as locker room honesty. And the question you have to ask yourself is, who benefits from which version of that story? Because Ford and Ellis are very clearly not rushing this. They keep circling back to phrases like business over hype and timing and legacy stakes, which sounds reasonable until you realize that we'll take the fight when their time is right has historically been sports speak for, we'd rather not take that risk right now.
Nah?
Wow.
Because he a good boxer. Like, that's when I look at y'all two as the best in the division.
How? Show me something that he did spectacular. Show me something that he did outrageous. Show me. His power not outrageous.
Okay.
What defense?
You think he got defense?
He just jumped back. You never see him slip no punch. You never see him slip no punch. Go look at it. You see him back up from a lot of people. Back up, move around, move around. He don't got no technique. And his offense is the...
And online speculation has been absolutely cooking over whether Team Tank is genuinely being strategic or whether Stevenson's technical style, that suffocating defense first, make you miss and make you pay approach, is actually a nightmare matchup that nobody on Tank's side wants to say out loud. And this is where the narrative completely flips, because suddenly the fighter being called boring by the opposing camp might actually be boring for a very specific and inconvenient reason.
Defensive specialist.
And I've been saying this for a long time. If you pay attention to how Tank would react whenever Shakur's name came up, I was like, yo, something that Tank knows that most people don't know or understand. There's something that he sees in Shakur. It could be the fact that Shakur was a 2016 silver medalist, you know?
He's got a lot to do with it.
He's that, you know, the silver child of the country. And, you know, there's no telling, but this is what I've always known. It ain't just a big straight left or a big left right hook coming from Tank that's going to end that night. That night is going to be the most strategical you've seen both these guys.
Because boring in boxing sometimes means impossible to hit. And impossible to hit means the knockout artist across the ring is fighting in a style that neutralizes his greatest weapon. And fans allegedly started connecting these dots in comment sections and podcasts, and the discourse reportedly went from Shakur is too defensive to wait, is Tank avoiding a bad stylistic matchup disguised as a business decision?
Doing Tank, realistically.
Man, I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. I don't really like talking about him.
Yeah.
Cause like the way that he move is goofy to me. Like it's some weird. So like I really don't like speaking on him. But like if anybody got issues with me or feel some type of way about me, you could come see me on fight night and resolve every issue that you got. Yeah. I stand by that with anybody.
And breaking update. The money conversation allegedly enters the room because sources online suggest the financial gap between what Stevenson's team is asking and what Tank's promoters are willing to put on the table is reportedly significant. And if that's true, and again, this is all online speculation, then the entertainment value criticism starts looking less like an artistic critique and more like a negotiating tactic.
Power. He's sneaky. Explosive. You think you're doing something, and he rides off that overconfident, where now he recognized this old school.
He's so interesting
Baltimore, Maryland. He's so old school. You know what old school is?
Yeah.
Anybody that's throwing punches is open to get hit. Anybody. And everybody that throw punches, you leave an opportunity. It's who get there first. It's like fencing.
Mm-hmm.
When you throw punches, no matter how straight, no matter how your stance are, when this becomes away from your body and things that you need to protect, the ribs, the chin,
there's always an opening.
It's always opening.
A way to publicly lower Stevenson's market value before contract discussions get serious, which would be, frankly, one of the most ruthless moves in modern boxing promotion, using a press conference energy to influence a pay-per-view number before the ink is dry. And you have to respect the audacity even as you raise an eyebrow at it. And Stevenson, to his credit, reportedly isn't shrinking. He's allegedly calling out top names plural, positioning himself as the hungry chaser of greatness, the man who wants every big fight while Tank gets framed as already established, already legacy secured, already above the fray. Which creates this fascinating dynamic where the challenger looks motivated and the champion looks cautious. And in boxing optics, cautious and selective sound very similar to another word that nobody on Tank's team would ever accept. And here's the twist that the internet allegedly started whispering about around the same time all of this was going down. What if, reports suggest, both sides want this fight more than they're admitting, but neither side wants to be the one who visibly wanted it first, because in combat sports, the fighter who wants the fight more is perceived as the one with more to prove. And more to prove means less leverage, and less leverage means a smaller check. So what fans are allegedly watching in real time isn't a call-out and a dismissal. It's reportedly a negotiation dressed up as beef, a business meeting conducted through press conferences and social media subtweets, where every "I don't need that fight" is allegedly worth $1 million in future leverage. And just when you think that's the most calculated thing you've heard today, consider this. Both camps apparently acknowledge, quietly, in the same breath they use to dismiss each other, that Davis versus Stevenson is a massive fight, that the championship implications are real, that the fan interest is enormous, that this would allegedly break pay-per-view records in a division starving for a genuine super fight. Which means everyone in this situation knows the endgame. Everyone is walking toward the same destination. They're just fighting over who gets to act like they arrived there reluctantly. And the tone of everything coming from Team Tank, when you strip away the punchlines and the political wording, is reportedly not hatred and not fear. It's something more interesting. It's a controlled dismissal layered over a quiet acknowledgement, respect wrapped inside a diss, which in boxing circles allegedly means only one thing: the fight is closer than anyone is admitting. But here's the twist that reframes this entire story. The detail that allegedly slipped out in a conversation that wasn't supposed to be public. Sources with knowledge of the situation reportedly suggest that a meeting between the two promotional sides already allegedly happened, quietly without announcement. And the fact that Calvin Ford and Kenny Ellis are out here talking to cameras and podcasts right now, loudly, repeatedly, publicly, might not be about keeping Stevenson waiting at all. It might allegedly be about building the narrative for the biggest fight announcement in lightweight history, because in 2025 boxing, the press conference drama is the marketing campaign. The beef is the advertisement. And every "he hasn't earned it yet" from Team Tank is allegedly worth $10 million in pay-per-view curiosity. So the real question isn't whether Shakur Stevenson has earned a fight with Gervonta Davis. The real question is, what if he already has and they just haven't told us yet?